Welcome to Synced on Air. I'm your host, Angelique Robb, and today I have a repeat guest on, John Fowler from Millboard. Welcome, John.
Good afternoon. How are you, Angelique?
I'm doing great. Good to have you
Good.
on again.
Good to see you again. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Oh, well, you've gone through a lot of changes since I've had you on the show last. We couldn't even remember when. It was like 2 years ago, maybe longer.
Yeah.
You were Outlive at the time, and you were bringing Millboard from the UK across to the US market. We met at ASLA ages ago, and yeah, tell us what you've been up to since then.
No, it's I still remember those days. Yeah. No, the evolution of how we came to be today. Real briefly, most of my career spent overseas, most of it in Europe, and I had seen this material at various trade shows, and just such a different product compared to anything else. And my real passion for it is it hits a number of different applications. It's not specific to one or the other. So lucky enough to be able to be the distributor as Outlive for a couple of years and had some really nice growth. And then the manufacturer Millboard, which is based in the UK in Coventry, take a map of the UK and put a dot in the middle. Coventry, I know we've talked about that. They acquired us, Outlive, and the CEO moved here to Minneapolis from the UK. Thus,
That
we've
must have been
hired,
a shock.
yeah, who doesn't want to move to Minneapolis in January? So
Yeah.
But since then, we've made some really good hires to help strengthen us, not just financially and have more product and to have the right sales staff inside and outside, be able to handle technical questions, installation questions, and a strong marketing arm. So it's been a lot of change over a few years, like you mentioned up front, but it's been kind of fun because we're growing like crazy and we have something nobody else has.
And yeah, for those people on listening to this that haven't touched Millboard, haven't seen it yet, what are the takeaways that you normally get from new users? Or, I mean, yeah,
Yeah, I
what
think
you
for
see with them.
us, where we really shine is that it's just a completely different material, not only in the composition of the product, it's actually, and it catches a lot of eyes. It's a top brand in Europe for siding and decking. But I mentioned applications. So we're doing decks, docks, siding, boardwalks and pathways, commercial rooftops. We have a self leveling pedestal system. All of our cladding and siding is actually fire rated. So we're doing a lot of business in California and the West Coast and commercially, and it's just fun to hit all these different applications, even furniture, this type of thing. But really, where we differentiate in terms of a material is it's really interesting because it's physically molded. I almost say almost like an ice cube tray of 6 different boards of American oak that are hand selected, or 3 different boards of a flooring of a train car floor from France. Now that train car floor is 100 years old, so I always say, as a history buff, I love history. You think about it, those boards saw World War I. So they are some
Geez,
very
that's
historical
crazy.
looking product, but yet it's rubber like a tennis shoe. So that helps us differentiate from the way it looks, the way it feels. And then nice to have the installers love it because we're gaining popularity in the US, but really known for our install and our decking. You do not have to use different clip systems or pre-drill or caps. You can screw right into our board and the screws instantly disappear. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been some fast growth, but yeah, that's how we came to be where we are today.
The thing that I like to tell people about it that I was kind of shocked by is because I've installed with it for 10, 15 years in the UK, is that it's grippy when it's raining or it's wet. And a lot of composite boards are slippery when it's wet. And to me, there's a huge safety issue, especially, you want to be outside as much as possible. Even if it's rained and now it's sunny again, you want to jump outside.
Yep.
So there's that too. But I was surprised when you said rooftops. What?
Yeah, we've been doing, when they have a rubber roof or a concrete roof, we have
Yeah.
our own self-leveling pedestal system that self-levels up to a 5-degree bevel and very easy to install. It's almost like Legos. There's no tools or hardware needed, but that allows you to really easily sit and allow for the proper weight and balances, but also span out a deck. It's really no maintenance. And the anti-slip's a big one for us, commercially, residentially, boardwalks, obviously decks. Why? Because the top coating on our product is basically, it's called Lastane, which is basically heavy duty rubber like a tennis shoe. So whether it's shoe on deck or you're walking in your bare foot, it's incredibly anti-slip. And it's a big positive for us, especially with safety and, like I say, docks and decks and boardwalks. It's a safety hazard. So
Yeah, fantastic. So how has your growth been? Is it mostly general contractors that are choosing it, or is it homeowners that are asking for it? Is it architects, or is it all of the above?
great, great question. It's all above. We were relatively unknown in the US 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago when I first started with it. So just to get the name out there, it's very difficult to go straight to distribution and say, bring this in because there's so many competitors in the market of siding, decking, so many different companies in the US. And for us, it's something that really differentiated. And we are truly a premium brand, a premium product. So we don't have a good, better, best. We only have premium. So we're not for everybody. But we work really closely. We have worked closely with homeowners, architects, contractors, builders. And then our strategy is really kind of a pull through where now we're trying to drive that demand back through to the right dealer network to make sure that they know not only is it a new product, but the demand's there and it's premium. So it really helps us. Contractors love it, like I mentioned earlier, because it's very lightweight, easy to use, something simple to install. Homeowners love it because aesthetically it looks unlike nothing else. I mean, it's virtually hand painted when you put siding up on a home. We've had houses in California recently that were denied final approval by local inspectors because the inspectors said that not allowed to have wood siding in California,
They
which
thought
is
it
a
was real.
perfect story for us because we said, good news there. There is no wood on this home. This is actually molded from wood. But because we have the hand painted, we get the darks, the lights, the
Yeah.
various grain patterns and character. So my point is it looks and feels like real wood. And then lastly, we've had significant growth architecturally. So we developed an AIA, American Institute of Architects course for continuing education that's allowed us to present to architect firms nationally for commercial, residential, and landscape architect credit. So yes, they get credit, but we've had tons of interest. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of presentations just this year. And when I say hundreds of presentations, some of those are virtual, some of those are in person. The more personal, the better, because we can show product and samples. But when you present to a room of 17 architects and they've never seen anything like this, and then you talk about all the applications, it's fun because not often you find a material that can fit a number of different options in an application, not just we just do decking or just do siding.
Well, and I also think when composites first came out, they all had some wood product in them as well. So again, this is not like that. There's nothing wood in them, but the inspectors are still thinking it's real wood. That's amazing.
No, that's another really good point, Angelique. I'm really glad you brought it up because for us, something can look great and install easy. Is it going to perform? Is it going to last? And that's important for the building owner or the homeowner. They want something that, as a premium brand, will look awesome, but also performs. And performance wise, I'll put us against any other competitor out there in the standpoint of aesthetically, there's nothing close. When you feel the grain pattern on it, a famous story I had was the first trade show I ever did was 3 years ago. My cousin Danny and I did the trade show, and he spent the better part of 10 minutes trying to get the nail out of the knot from the wood car flooring pattern. And I told him after a while, I said, Danny, that's part of the mold. He said, "Well, why didn't you tell me earlier?" And I said, we're getting 2 feet of snow in Madison. The trade show was a little slow, and I needed some entertainment.
Yeah.
But to your point, there
Poor
is no wood in our
guy.
product. There's no wood in our product. There's no PVC. So it's extremely strong in terms of performance for expansion, contraction, UV. It performs in all environments. It's performed in 140 above Fahrenheit to 30 below Fahrenheit. So that's nice when you have something that it's aesthetically pleasing, but also performs in the elements. And in this country, it gets all over the map in terms of climate, right?
Sure
So,
does.
yeah,
More where you are than where I am.
true. It's true.
We have
True.
180, and that's about it.
Yeah. No, it can get
Uh,
pretty hot.
Yeah. Well, and you also said that you had some new products or new offerings. What do you have coming up?
Yeah, the business has really evolved for us where Millboard started with the decking product called Millboard and the three different patterns, and that's exploding in terms of more color options, more ideas. And then they got into cladding, what they call envelo, like envelope. And cladding for us was newer about 2 or 3 years ago, came out here in the US. And now that's a bigger part of our business because as you know from your time in the UK and in Europe, a lot of homes, when they do siding on it, it's typically like a little feature area, feature wall around the entrance. In the States, whether it's commercial or residential, you can, most of the time, they'll wrap the whole building. So there's a lot of volume there. And yet, as a premium product, we're very difficult to value engineer against because there's always something less expensive. But performance wise, and the fact that it's lightweight, easy to install, there's just nothing close to that. So my point is, our siding has really exploded. When we do siding jobs, they're huge. You know, we're not for uh, the 250, $300,000 homes where you got 10 of them in a row and they want the cookie cutter. I mean, these are really for that custom home builder that has a selection center, that architect that's specifying for that right client. And, you know, we know we're not for everybody, but the evolution of cladding has led us into, we have a couple different patterns there now. We do have a couple different new profiles that are coming down the road in siding, which will help us address some of the traditional and modern markets out there. And just one brief example where we're able to succeed is a lot of people want that modern look. Not for everybody, but people really like that modern, sharp angle look. Perfect for us because our cladding can go right up to your window. You can actually miter the outside corner on the home with our siding because of the stability of the material. So it makes it fun to have more new colors, have more new profiles down the road. And we just continue with voice of the customer from the builder, the owner, the architect to say, hey, this is something would be of demand down the road. So it
Yeah.
makes it fun when we're doing good things now, and yet there's more to come in terms of launch and new products.
Well, and that's so interesting that siding has grown bigger than the decking side. Because again, for me, I still think of it more of a decking product, but, like raised beds for planters, really, there's nothing that you can use that looks like real wood. A lot of people like the look of real wood, but it just really doesn't last, and then you pay all this labor and this cost for materials for raised beds, furniture outside on decking, any of those things, and it just doesn't last no matter what you coat it with. So again, millboard can do so much more when it's touching soil that nothing else
Yeah,
competes
there's
with.
there's no problem for us with ground contact. And to your
Yeah.
point, you know, we're perfect for so many different applications. You know, a lot of the big opportunities we have are like boardwalks and pathways where they want anti-slip. They want that real look. You know, the screws disappear, so there's no corrosion on screws. When you think about the boardwalks in the Everglades or even nationally, anywhere there's a boardwalk or a park that it needs something, you'll see it. And as you walk, a big one for me is you go to any beach in Texas or Florida, or you go onto the beach and just walk on the beach. How many times have you got a sliver? You can see exposed screws or the wood rotting. And with our material, it's completely impervious to rot, water, mold, insects, termites. There's no wood in it. And then it's phenomenal for expansion contraction. So it's perfect for those different applications that's never been thought of for a composite material in the past.
Yeah. Yeah. Gosh, yeah, really exciting. Glad to see it's been so successful here in the States. And we're going to feature one of your projects coming up soon, too, and one of our upcoming issues. Do you want to tell us more about that project?
Yeah, I mean, we've done a number of really cool projects, and it's always a trick to get the photography once everything's said and done because the contractors are busy wrapping up and cleaning up. But we've done a number of really interesting projects, commercially, residentially. One that um, we've been able to promote quite heavily, and it's just because it's so interesting. It hits a number of different applications. Is called Joshua Tree. It's actually a VRBO actually out in Joshua Tree, California, and it was interesting because it has about a 4,000 to 5,000, I can't remember the exact number now, square foot deck. It's got benches. They actually used our siding or cladding on the interior of the home because this is basically 12 different container homes all welded together. So
Wow,
they got all these container homes that are all welded together, and then they put in big glass, big open glass, very modern, right? And they used our cladding on the inside of the home, on the inside of the kitchen. And quite interesting, we've done a number of jobs, even though it's not a lot of material. They actually use it on the interior of the showers.
that's neat.
Everybody else uses tile, but something
Yeah.
different, different material, and yet it's
Very
impervious.
tactile and yeah, waterproof.
So, and it's in a really cool location with the mountains in the background and the sunsets and all the views and the beauty of the desert at night and during the day. So that was a really fun one to be a part of. We'll get you that photography.
Sounds great. I didn't know when you showed me a picture of it, I had no idea that it was containers welded together.
Yeah, no, there's a longer story to it, but it was a very interesting project to be a part of just because, like I say, the gentleman that installed that, he's no longer in that area. He doesn't live there. I keep in touch with him, but he was the definition of a true artist. Like he actually color matched the trim boards and looked for the right exact color match and grain match on all the returns. So he laid all the boards out and matched the grains up on all the outside corners on the inside of the home. So all the extension dams and that, I mean, it looks like a true tree, and yet it's all our composite material from the UK. So that takes, I can't tell you the level
Attention
of
to detail.
detail and skill it takes to not just think of that and see that, but then to make it happen. Better me than I, for sure, for sure.
Well, and how are you getting out the word about all the different colors and everything? Or you said new colors, new profiles. I guess that's maybe through a education as well.
Yep, day-to-day education with conversations with customers. We get tons of inquiries and follow-ups and referrals, a powerful way of doing business. We were recently featured in Dwell, so doing some Dwell adverts and showing our decking, and then I think we're showing the siding in July and August. That helps. The other thing for us has been just samples. I mean, that's a key thing for us, millboard.com, and ordering your samples for free because we really win when people touch and feel and see this material versus whatever else they're considering, whether it be for whatever application as well, siding, decking, docks, whatever. Homeowners, builders, everybody notices instantly it's lighter. You can see the color, you can feel the grain pattern, and yet it's not PVC. So that helps us a ton to be able to sample people and let them touch and feel and see it and have the confidence to say you can lay it against a compare and see which one you decide is better for your home or project. That helps us a lot.
To tell people to hose it down and dance on it.
You can do that too.
Yeah,
That's one of the actions. Yeah. You should put that on our letter.
yeah, yeah. Well, when I first moved to the States, I was like, why isn't Millboard here yet? I can't do my deck until Millboard's here. So I guess it's time for me to do my decking project.
Remember back to the days when you and I think it was just the end of COVID and we were at the San Francisco show for ASLA for architects. And it was lucky for us to be acquainted.
I know you were way back in the back. I think that who was the guy that was helping you on the booth? He's a deck distributor or
We had a lot of them there
I
that
can't
day.
remember.
I mean, it was the Vikings were playing. The show was pretty busy actually. So
It
it
was,
was a good
even
show
though
for
it
us.
was during COVID, yeah,
Yeah,
or
it was
toward
just
the
the
end
tail
of
end
it.
of COVID, I believe, but I can't remember the dates. It all seems to fly together now.
I know, can't believe where the time goes.
It goes fast. It goes fast.
Well, and I'll have to order some new samples because I've given mine out to some architects in town, so I can't remember who I gave them to, and now I need to get some more, so
Yeah.
I'll have to
No,
put my order in too.
we're doing something right in marketing because the two new colors for siding for us are coppered and it's called anthracite, which is a really dark gray. It's the number one
Mhm.
color for us in terms of requirement spec for architects. So it's good to see that when we're consistent with all the other colors and profiles, and then to see you launch a new color based on VOC and we're getting really positive feedback architecturally and from the home.
And do the darker colors hold more heat, or what are you finding from a
Absolutely.
heat
Yeah.
absorption?
I say this to everybody, Mother Nature's in charge. This material is phenomenal for performance, but she is in charge. You know, everything will fade a little bit. Certainly, darker colors are warmer, usually 15 degrees or something like that for us than our lighter colors. On siding, usually doesn't matter. It's got a pretty significant R value, so that helps with the
Yeah,
energy of the building.
good.
And then in the decking, it's funny. We do most of our dark colors in Florida, California,
Really?
Arizona. They want all the dark colors. Obviously, in the Midwest, you get all your oaks and your maples, so you get your medium dark browns and dark browns, and then the East Coast tends to be your light grays and your faded cedars. But
Coast
we get a
blue.
pretty healthy mix.
That's funny that you can actually notice a difference with the trends of
Yeah.
each of
Yeah, and
the
we monitor it pretty closely just for our mix, our product mix, and then what are we missing? Because you're always missing a color. There's always one color you're missing.
well,
We
that's
continue to
where
evolve
more
those.
contest. Yeah, no request for pink or blue or anything like that?
Good news there, we have salt blue siding, we have sage green siding,
Oh, do
and,
you?
they're
Okay.
gorgeous. It's more of a your east, southeast coast, but, there you go. Uh, yeah,
Sage
you would love it.
green, yeah.
So, but everybody's to each their own on colors. You think they want to pick X or Y, and they pick Z all the time. So, it's a color. Make sure the homeowner has what they want on their home, or the owner has what they want to have on their building.
Gosh, well, now I have to look at the siding samples too for my house.
Yep. No, it's beautiful stuff.
Well, and so, yeah, are there a lot so I don't know as much about siding as I do decking. So, do you have as many competitors in siding as you do in decking, or is it even more than in the
Good
decking
question.
world?
I don't know. I would guess there's probably more competitors on siding. You have a lot of
Uh-huh.
the PVC manufacturers out there right there, really who we compete with
And
would be like
hardy
an
plank.
LP or obviously Hardy's a huge brand, but Hardy has such a range of good, better, best, from unfinished through to a diamond coat finish. And, we see some of the other competitors out there, but again, the composition of our product is completely different to anything else on the market. So from a standpoint of aesthetics, being hand painted, being molded from the real oak boards American, and then you can see knots and you can see streaks, but it's all rubber. And then the expansion, contraction, UV, things we've talked about here. There's nothing close. When you're dealing with the climates of the moisture and the humidity down in the southeast in Florida, the Carolinas, or the cold up here, expansion contraction is a major deal in our industry. So it's really helped us when we get a chance to tell the story to show how we differentiate.
Well, thanks for bringing it to the States, and so glad that you're having such success. And yeah, great to see where the company and the brand is growing all over. And yeah, I'll have to get more samples.
Let me know. We'll take care of you personally, Angelique. I appreciate you having me on. It's great to see you again, as always. And I appreciate that we're staying connected because you're doing a lot of good things yourself. I've been watching your podcasts and um, interviewing some really good people in the industry. And there's a lot of momentum in outdoor living. People want to enjoy their outdoor spaces in their homes. Like I say, whether it be commercially, residentially, or landscape, there's tons of opportunities out there. And we're appreciative to be a part of it.
Well, thank you for all your hard work. And yeah, I think you're doing great things. We love sharing the news and love being involved with you as much as we can. So look forward to the future.
Awesome.
Thanks. Thanks
Thank
for
you, Angela.
joining us, John.
Appreciate it.
And I'll also put some contact details for the company in the show notes. So you can send me those afterwards and we'll make sure it's in the show notes.
Perfect. Will do.
Great.
Awesome.
Well, we'll see you again sometime. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
joining us.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye.